Just as a disclaimer, we want you to know that some of the movies that we will be reviewing were shot in a different time and era where people of race and sex were not treated equally. We understand this and hope you do too. The movies or anything that happened on the sets are not the views of this podcast or what this show is intended to be all about.
Exactly. And we want to give due diligence in presenting the movie and not the views of the cast or directors or anyone involved. But we also feel it's necessary to let the audience know some of the background information to get a feel for what was happening at the time of shooting the film. Again, we hope you understand that we do not agree with everything that went on, and we just want to give out the information. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the show.
Johnny Williams was killed?
Yes. Find something?
Animal tracks.
Whoever is bitten by a werewolf and lives becomes a werewolf himself.
Oh, don't hand me that. You're just wasting your time.
The wolf bit you, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. You wouldn't want to run away with a murderer, would you?
Oh, Larry, you're not. You know you're not.
I killed Bela. I killed Richardson. If I stay here any longer, you can't tell who'll be next.
Alright guys, welcome back to the third installment of the Universal Monsters series. Today we'll be discussing the Wolfman. Hi, I'm your host Jimbo, and my co-host as usual,
Terrence.
Doesn't look too much like the Wolfman today, but it's not a full moon yet, so... like I said, we just jump right into these things and get these things going. They're just a little fun movies that we decided to do for the month of October. So, Terrence, let's go ahead and take it away.
All right, so jumping right into it. Wolfman, release date, December 12th, 1941. Budget, $180,000. Didn't do the conversions today. This was directed by George Wagner. Writing credits, Kurt Smudak. Oh, I'm going to have to look at that one before I say it. Siodmak? That is a very unique last name. So that was the original screenplay. Technical specs, runtime, 1 hour and 10 minutes at 70 minutes. Sound mix, mono, Western electric microphone recording. Microphonic recording. Black and white movie. Aspect ratio, 1.37 by 1. Film length, 1,915.77 meters. So this one, pretty decent length compared to the other two, interestingly enough. The ones we've recorded already. Negative format, 35 millimeter. Cinematographic process, spherical. Printed film format, 35 millimeter. And off to the awards. So much like the other two monster movies that we did before already, this one also, all the awards lie in the Academy of Science, Fantasy, and Horror Films, USA. And I'll just name the years. They won an award in 2017, 2015, 2013, and 2005.
So as you can see, a lot of these monster movies, they didn't actually have individual awards. It came later on in life when people started, rewatching them, showing them to their family, and it's all part of a bigger collection of all of them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So the synopsis is a man is attacked by a creature and contracts the disease that turns him into a werewolf. Kind of like vampires.
Yeah.
So just a thing. This opened 2 days after the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Oh, wow.
They didn't know if they should go ahead and release it, but they decided to go ahead and do it. So the cast, we have Lon Chaney Jr. as Lawrence Larry Talbot, and also the Wolfman.
Yep.
Dick Farwell was scheduled to play him, but he was replaced 1 week before filming.
Oh, wow.
Claude Rains as Sir John Talbot. Now, you'll come to find out Claude Rains is familiar because he's in another Universal Monster movie coming up, is The Invisible Man, which that movie, once we get to it, is amazing. Warren William as Dr. Lloyd. Ralph Bellamy as Colonel Paul Montford. Maria Oskapaneskaya. See, I Terrenced it. She played Malivia, the gypsy fortune teller. Evelyn Ankers as Gwen Conleaf. Patrick Knowles as Frank Andrews. Bella Lugosi
Once
plays
again,
Bella the gypsy, which we all remember Bella Lugosi as playing Dracula. J.M. Kerrigan as Charles Conliffe. Faye Helms as Ginny Williams. And Forrester Harvey as Twiddle.
yeah.
So Terrence, you want to start us off about this movie?
Yeah. So Wolfman, it has a very interesting intro. Is this the one that opens up with kind of explaining? It opens up with some text, I believe. No, that was the Mummy. See, I'm getting them mixed up. No, Wolfman opens up with the main character, John.
Yeah, right? He's coming back home.
He's coming back home, and
to his father.
Him and his father have a conversation, kind of explaining it. Almost immediately wraps up kind of their relationship, how it's been, and where they want it to go.
That plays a very
pivotal role
in the end of the movie.
Absolutely. Right? So his father's talking to him, and you learn that his older brother has passed away. So he's next in line to inherit the manor, chateau. I don't remember what the type of building it is. It's the family home. And with his eldest brother passed away, he is now in line to inherit it. So his father goes on to explain, usually the oldest son takes on the burden of inheriting things, and the youngest son goes and rebels and does what he wants. And he's like, but now that, you're the one who inherits it, let's just...
Because his brother had died.
Yeah, his brother
That's
died.
Why he's back.
Exactly, yeah. And so... they basically, whatever past they had, they put it behind him, and they go, hey, let's move forward into this. His father was acknowledging, hey, you have this background, and, it'll be good to inherit all this stuff with all the things you've learned. And he's like, let's go go through with this, basically. And he's ready to go.
Right. And about this time, you see, hey, your package is delivered. It is a piece of the telescope, this gigantic telescope, which... I thought it was going to have a pivotal role in the movie, and he's like, "Oh, I can put this together." So he's so
spoiler alert: it doesn't tie into.
I mean, it does at the beginning,
at the very beginning.
Because he's like, "Hey, I got it fixed," and he's looking around down the street, and you're like, "Oh." And then he looks into this lady's bedroom window, and I'm like, "Where's this movie going?" Because he sees like the earrings she's putting in, and notices they're like a moon shape. And she puts them on her dresser, and I was like, this is kind of weird. I thought, maybe later on in the movie that they would use it to try to track the Wolfman or something crazy.
I thought that he was going to be looking at it just because of some interest in the telescope and, like, see the moon and then turn or something.
Yeah.
But no, that's
see it
for one scene, and that's it. So that, like, it's almost like they couldn't think of a way to transition from one moment to the next, right. So they were just like, "Oh, let's just have him look at a telescope."
So he looks in the window, and then he rears it down, and he sees the title of the store that is right above the store. So he's assuming the lady works there.
Exactly.
So next thing you see, you see him go over to the store, right? And he starts, "Hey, do you got any like jewelry?" And she's like, "Yeah, we got some of these." He's like, "Yeah. What about
he's like, I'm looking to buy some earrings,
the moon-shaped kind." And she's like, "Well, sir, we don't carry those." He's like, "Sure you do." So I'm upset. Yeah, I'm
upstairs on top of your dresser,
wardrobe. And she's like, "How do you know that?" He's like, "I'm psychic." So,
yeah.
So anyway, you come to find out that he buys a cane, a walking stick.
Yep.
And she's showing him several different ones.
He was trying to find an excuse to just kind of linger.
Linger a little bit. Linger longer.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, I'll buy a cane. She's showing him a bunch of different canes, and then one of them was just like a normal cane, and then one had a dog head, to which he said no. Yeah. And then that's when she pulls out the cane.
The cane that he buys, and it has a werewolf on top
Silver
of it.
handle werewolf with the pentagram.
Right.
I'm making air quotes here.
Now the for those of you that don't know your werewolf lore, the only way to kill a werewolf
Is with silver.
is with silver. Usually a silver bullet, is usually what. But come to find out, that's not necessarily true in this movie. You know what I mean? So,
I also found it interesting that they kept mentioning the pentagram. So I'm actually thinking of a pentagram, but then they show it. I'm like, that's just a star.
yeah. Well, because also once you find out, we'll do that when they get to the gypsy.
Yeah.
So, they go and then he's like, well, I'd like to see you again, and she's like, well,
he's like, I'll see you tonight at 7.
yeah.
And then she's like, no, I can't. And
I
he's
got a
like,
fiance.
Yeah. Oh, she doesn't mention that just
Right.
yet. He's just like, I'll see you at 7. I'll see you at 7. She's like, no. To which he doesn't listen, and he does show up at 7. But
But I think when he shows up, that Ginny's with her.
Yeah.
Because they're
friend
all
Ginny.
excited because the gypsies are rolling into town, and they
they
only
want to
come
get their
once a year
fortune
or whatever.
read or
right.
their tarot cards or something.
Ginny's really excited. So as they're walking, this is where the scene, the gypsies are set up outside in this, weird part of town.
Yeah.
There's a festival going on or something.
Yeah.
But during this scene, I don't think the festival's officially going on yet because they're coming. And Ginny's like, well, let me go first. I'm going to get my fortune read first. Let me go. So Bela Lugosi, is out there, and he's like, come with me. So, I mean, the guy just is a great actor.
Absolutely.
So while she's like, well, Larry goes, well, I don't think we should be standing here listening to our fortune. Let's go on a walk,
Yeah,
and you can tell,
exactly.
like, the fog's rolling in, creepy trees.
Everything's ominous.
It's perfect setting. So meanwhile, Bela Lugosi, which was Bella in the movie The Gypsy, and Ginny are in there, and he's like, well, let me read your fortune, and he just kind of looks, oh no.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, let me read your palm. He's like, because the left hand's your past and the right hand's your future.
hand's your
and
future,
he looks at her hand, and you see the pentagram, because
Pop
technically they said that the werewolf lore was that the pentagram would pop up on the werewolf's next victim.
Exactly, yeah.
So
and
when
then
he's
on
seen
the
that,
werewolf himself.
Yeah, and when he's seen that, he's like, you just need to go. You need to go home. You need to lock your doors. You need to go now. And she's like, what can you tell me? He's like, just get out of here now.
And then he's like packing up
right.
and everything. Yeah.
And what was really cool is when you see him. So she leaves, and you see him walk out, and the horses start going crazy. Backing down and everything. So Larry, in the meantime, Larry and
Gwen, yeah.
Yeah, they're out there having a conversation, and then I think, is this where she tells him she has a fiance?
I believe so, yeah. Because he's still
doesn't
trying
he kiss
to...
her here too?
No, that's later.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, he's continuing...
he's trying hard.
He's trying really hard.
So,
and then she shuts him down. She's like, I have a fiance. And then he's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, but about this time you hear a scream.
Yep.
Or you hear a howl first, don't you?
Yeah, and then you hear a scream.
And you're like, what was that? That's probably just...
Some animal.
Yeah. No. And then you hear Ginny scream, and he's like, stay here, and he takes running off. So he's got that cane still, and you see Ginny laying on the ground, and being attacked by it looks like a regular dog.
It does, yeah.
And I was kind of confused about that, you know what I mean? Because
was
if
too.
you watch the movie, so Larry starts fighting with the dog, and the dog is actually one of his own German shepherds.
Really?
Yeah, so that way he wouldn't be, it's his own dog.
That would make sense. So
if you see, they're playing around. But if you watch closely, they go behind, they flash back or something, they come back, and you actually see like a Wolfman figure standing up fighting with him. It's just for a brief scene. And then the next part you see the dog again.
And because that's what confused me. I'm like, because I saw the dog.
I was like...
And then later on, when they actually show the Wolfman, he's a wolf man. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wait, then how did the other guy turn into a full-on dog?
Right. So what happens is the dog ends up biting
It's like on
Larry.
the chest, yeah.
Yeah, on like the side of his chest. And so he takes that cane with the silver handle and he just starts beating it and beating it, and finally you hear it die. And so he's like, oh, and he ends up passing out or something, doesn't he, Larry?
Oh man, I believe so.
Yeah, I think he passes out because they take him back to his dad. Or something. And but while they're there,
that's right, because he was like, I've been bit, and then he passes out.
Right. But then
then Gwen finds him on the ground. Yeah.
And so they end up getting him back to his dad. But in the meantime, they go over to where the wolf had died.
Yep.
They find Jenny. She's dead. And they go over to where the wolf's died, and it's actually Bela Lugosi. And they said his skull has been bashed in.
Yeah.
And you're like, uh-oh. So now you know that he was the werewolf that was attacking him. But the people haven't seen the werewolf. They just know that he's a dead man. And Jenny's dead.
This is where they introduce the detective and
they played
Twiddle.
Yeah.
I didn't understand Twiddle's role. I'm like, I know he's assisting this detective, or at least they never come out and say he's a detective.
Right.
But, I mean, the way he's going about things, you would assume so. But who's Twiddle? He's just like this
sidekick,
strange sidekick.
Yeah. So they get back to the office, the dad's house, and and Larry, they're like, well, we need to talk to him, and they're like, he's like, I'm telling you, he's like, I was attacked by a werewolf or a wolf. I got bit, and they said, well, can we see your thing? And he opens up, and he doesn't have any.
Yeah, he opens up his shirt, and there's nothing there. Yeah.
He's like, I'm telling you, they said, we found the gypsy dead. They said we didn't see any sign of werewolf. He's like, are you trying to tell me that I killed a man and not a wolf? I beat it with this stick in the head, or my cane in the head, bashed the skull in, and he's like, well, the only thing we found, and they said, well, maybe you were just under a lot of stress and you didn't know what was going on. He's like, are you trying to tell me I'm a murderer? He's like, I know what I did, and I know what I did. He's like, and they were confused because they could see his clothes were shredded, where the bite went. Yeah. So that was a whole part of the movie that just really starts setting it up. So they were discussing, well, sometimes they only think that it happens, that's all in the head.
Yep.
And a strange thing is that for this movie, they weren't going to ever show the Wolfman.
Really?
They were just going to make it all mental, which I think would have been really crazy too. What I mean? Like, it's
They've
all
actually
in his
done
head.
that in a different werewolf movie where it literally all you see is the shadow of the werewolf himself. I need to remember what movie that is, but yeah, it's an idea that, done right, can be executed.
And one thing is that when Bela Lugosi you see Bela Lugosi, that his shoes are off.
Yep.
So that was a thing too, and they found some tracks, so they know there was something there. So then you see the gypsy woman coming to town with the casket, and Larry's there too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he doesn't quite understand what's happening, and the lady's like, "Look, that we've been doing this for a year. We bury him here." So then you have Gwen and her father talking, and that's when Jenny's mom comes in. And she says, I want to know why you left my daughter alone with the gypsies, blah, blah, blah. She'd still be alive. Yep. And then Larry comes in.
And this is also where you find out the Talbots have kind of a reputation in this town.
Oh, yeah. So Larry walks in, and then, that's when Jenny's mom, well, I'm just going to leave now.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, can I see Jenny? Something's going on. I need to talk to Jenny. So he goes in and starts talking to Jenny. And then this is where you meet her fiance.
Yeah.
And he's like, well.
That's what he's like. He's like, where's this gentleman? I want to meet him. And then, what does she mention? She's like, oh, don't do anything. He's like, no. I just want to show him that I'm not like scared of him. I don't see him as a threat or anything like that. Yeah.
But then you have.
I thought there was going to be an actual interaction, but he literally just passes him by.
Well, the only thing you remember their dog
think.
Barks at him.
That's right.
Remember, it barks at Larry. He's like, "What's going on?" So now they're going to go to they're going to the fair, and he sees Jenny, and the gypsies are there. The Jenny's there. Her fiance's there, and her fiance and him start playing this game. Shoot. You remember they're shooting?
Well, they were watching a dancer at first, and then that's when they were like, "Oh, hey, there's John."
Right.
And then so they're like, they talk for a bit, and then they're like, "Hey, let's play this game," to which John accepts. And
you mean Larry?
Larry, sorry. So they start playing the shooting game, and they're both shooting their targets.
He's like, "Why don't you go first?" And so Larry's up there. He's like, "Ding!"
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's a dead shot. Ding! And then the wolf pops up, and he's like,
Then he freezes. Yeah.
It's like I can't. So then the other guy picks it up and he shoots, and that's where I thought it was going to end up being the fiance that shoots him, because he just picks up the gun and he just nails that thing. You know what I mean? The target right in the.
Now, so here what I was curious about is you see his father talking to another gentleman, and he's like, "Oh, look how fine of a shot he is," something like he's talking up his son, and then that's when he like freezes and he misses when the wolf pops up, and I was curious into what that conversation was about in general, and it was like, is he saying that like, you know, hey, he's a good worker, and you know he Talbot whatever is in good hands, or you know, what was that about?
Yeah, but I don't think it was necessarily a pivotal part of the movie. It's just something to throw.
I neither.
You know,
it was just there, and
yeah.
I was like, wait, what? And I was a bit confused about it.
But the one thing I'll say about this movie is there were no. I didn't feel like there was any missing scenes. Like, I think it all flowed pretty well.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? And unlike Dracula and Frankenstein,
Yep.
you could tell some stuff was missing, like the lady in white from Dracula and stuff. So
Everything felt pretty complete. Yeah.
right. So
Except the fact that I didn't use the telescope for anything.
Larry ends up going to see the gypsy woman, and she's like, you know, seeing him, and she's like, "You need to show me your wound." And you know, he opens up his shirt, you know, and then
the pentagram.
The pentagram shows up, and she's like, "You were bitten. He was the werewolf." She's like, "You're now going to be the werewolf."
Yeah.
He didn't want to believe it, you know what I mean? He's like, "No."
And she's like, "Here's this necklace. It'll protect
wear
you,
this.
or wear this." Yeah.
So the next thing they start whispering. The gypsies start whispering. They say they are packing up and getting out of Dodge.
Yeah, because you just see like this. Was it her? Or was it somebody else?
I think it was
like,
her.
Literally is going around
Just
all
whispering.
of camp, just whispering to everyone, and then everybody packs up
fast. I mean, they were
fast. Everybody's like, "Is the party over? Is it? I didn't even know."
Well, and this is where Larry starts wigging out too. Remember, he starts seeing his brain starts replaying all the different stuff. He sees Jenny.
Yeah,
It was a pretty cool scene. So now, this is where he goes back to his room or whatever, and you know he's looking, and then he looks at his legs, and they start
So he's looking everywhere, and he's like, he didn't see anything. He's like, okay, cool, and then he looks at his legs. He's like, oh no.
Yeah, and they're hairy.
Yeah.
And so you look back up, and he's starting, to unbutton his shirt or whatever, and he looks back at his legs, and they are just hairy. And the next thing you see is like their full hair, you know. And what I liked about this scene is it didn't show him fully transform right there.
Yeah.
You know,
it just showed his legs transform.
and then you see Nate, you know,
and then they just show his feet walk away as the werewolf.
And you're like, what is going on? So that's where you finally he gets out. You see just a shadow for a long period of time, and then you see this grave digger digging a grave, and you see the Wolfman finally full, fantastic looking. The Jack P. Pierce achieved the Wolfman's iconic makeup primarily with a rubber nose with yak hair that was singed with a curling iron and attached to Lon Chaney Jr.'s face, arm, and legs with spirit gum.
Oh wow!
So it's actually yak hair on him. I thought that was pretty good. And by the way, shooting for this film lasted from October 27th to November 25th in 1941 with a December 12th release. How about that turnaround? It was filmed in less than a month.
Yeah.
And it was released in a month, like 14 days later.
I
was like, that
was edited very quickly. That is really incredibly fast.
I was like, this is really, really crazy.
I mean, wow.
A couple of things real quick. There was a deleted scene where Evelyn Ankers, who played Gwen, suffered a bad scare when a 600-pound bear, which was originally in the film but was later cut, escaped its trainer and chased the actress up a ladder where she was pulled to safety by an electrician. Evelyn Ankers had a rough time on the set. Lon Chaney Jr. delighted in sneaking up on her in full makeup and scaring her senseless. And another deleted scene, that's where the bear was to wrestle the werewolf, but it broke loose, chasing the actress. So, I mean, she just had a really long time. Like, here's another one. She had a difficulty working with Lon Chaney Jr., already peeved at Ankers because she was given his dressing room. The studio was punishing him for vandalizing studio property while drunk.
Oh, my God.
The actor would constantly irritate her, nicknaming her Shankers while playing juvenile practical jokes. He liked to sneak up in full makeup on her. So, now you see the Wolfman. He goes over and he kills the grave digger. And he wakes up in his bed.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, man, what a night.
Yeah, right.
And all of a sudden, and then he sees on the floor, he sees the wolf
The
prints,
tracks,
and he's like,
then I believe the tracks slowly, turn to his footprints.
yeah,
right?
and they go to the window, and that's where you see the inspector. They're following the tracks, and they come to the window, and he's like, he shuts the window real fast, and stands behind the curtain or
and
whatever.
then quickly starts cleaning up all the footprints inside.
And the colonel seen him, so they go to the next thing you see, they go to the church. His dad, he went to the church with his dad, and he's like,
oh yeah.
And a little side note here is that the church that they go to was actually the stairs, and going into the church was actually the same stairs from the Hunchback of Notre Dame that Lon Chaney played in the Hunchback of Notre Dame in the 1928 silent film. So that was pretty cool. Paid homage to his dad. So everybody stops and they stare at him like,
Oh yeah, as soon as he
"Hey."
walks in, everybody just starts slowly turning around like, what is he doing?
And
here?
he's like, I'm just gonna leave, so then you see, the next thing you see that the detective and him have a cast of the animal tracks,
Oh yeah.
and they're talking about, they're like, what could have made this? And they're like, well, it's not.
Big canine
Yeah,
footprint.
they're like, yeah, they weren't really sure what it was. So then the doctor and the father are talking, and they decide to leave the wolf trap. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then I said the dogs and the people chasing. I don't know what that meant. And then the gypsy lady sees Larry running. So we're getting to the part of the where my notes are a little hard to read.
So shortly after this moment is okay. So he's
Oh, hang on just a sec.
Okay.
I see this. This is I have a star here. It says it took 6 hours for them to apply the makeup to him and 3 hours to remove it.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That seems to be a trend with these older heavy costumes when it comes to completely changing a person's appearance. It's a long time to get in makeup and a long time to come out of it.
Right. So you come into the part where basically Larry, they're setting the trap for the wolf man, and his dad's like, look, because he's like, Dad, he's like, it's me. He's like, I'm the only one, He's like, well, I'm going to tie you to this chair.
Well, before that, they actually have a whole conversation with a doctor. And then there's just this whole conversation about him just like inquiring. He's like, do you believe in the Wolfman? Is the Wolfman real? And this is actually a second conversation.
Right.
There's a conversation earlier. And they have this whole sort of interesting like philosophical talk about like, well, I think anyone could like mentally become an animal, as in like, given to our evil instincts, and there's evil in every man and stuff like that.
And all that stems back to where they were never going to show the wolf man. I think that would have tied in with
Yeah.
they never showed him, you know what I mean?
So they were basically insinuating that like for a man to transform into a wolf, no, but I do believe a man could think he's a wolf. And so that was a very interesting conversation. So the main character, he's just completely split and torn because everybody's telling him that there's no such thing as a werewolf.
Right.
You can go mentally mad, but there's no such thing as an actual werewolf. And then so he's jumping between believing that knowing he's the werewolf, and then also like trying to explain to people he's like, no, I'm not insane. I'm right in the mind. I'm not even thinking about this. And that's when he's like, oh, maybe it's suggestive. And that's when his father talks to the gypsy woman.
Yep.
And he's like, putting these ideas in my boy's head and stuff like that. And then that's when you finally get to the second conversation when he's frantic at this point, and that's when he starts shotgunning those questions all at the doctor, to which he leaves, and they know that there's something wrong with him, because as soon as he leaves, they're like, oh yeah, he's pretty sick. He should come back with us to the hospital, or wherever. And his father's like, no, he belongs here. He's like, Talbot always, the oldest Talbot needs to be here, and we've always solved our problems here, so he
Right.
needs to be here.
And I liked how he was actually starting to stick up for his son now. You know,
He was, yeah.
In the beginning, it was kind of a rocky relationship because he's like, you've been away for, 18 years or something
Yeah.
like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So he's like, Dad, he's like, they're going to catch me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they end up tying him to the chair.
So yeah, they tie him to the chair after that conversation, and then he's like, "Take this cane." He's like, "I don't understand
Yeah.
why, but okay."
He's like, Dad, take this cane. He's like, it will protect you.
Oh, and here's one important tidbit we kind of skipped over that happened before, and that's the little talisman that she gave him. They're like, "This will protect you." He immediately gives it to Gwen,
Right. Because he's thinking that.
which seems to be a theme in these movies. Here's
I don't
a
think
talisman to protect you.
Did he give it to
okay,
her?
I'm going to give it to the
her
girl
right away, or does he
did.
give it to her?
He gave it to her right away. Like, he got it, and then the very next scene, he's like, "Here, this will protect you."
Yeah, so that was kind of weird. You know, you see Larry, you see him starting to change again, don't you?
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going on, you know. So they're all out on their little crusade to find and kill this guy.
Yeah.
So then,
I guess, oh man, we skipped.
I know, there's a lot of
important
stuff that was.
and you know, that's the conversation between him and Gwen before.
That's what I
all
say.
of this
Him and
happened.
Gwen
Yeah.
are talking. Was my next thing? It was Larry and Gwen were talking.
Yeah, and he's just he was like,
Let me see
you got to
your-
stay away from it. Like, he sees the.
He said, "Let me see your
pentagram on her.
hand." And you know, she shows him
Sees
the
the
hand, that
pentagram.
pentagram's hand. And he's like, "Oh no,
I have to go, and like you
can
got to get
never see
away
me
from me."
again. Yeah.
Exactly. And then she's like, "No, let's run away together. Like, we can leave this place."
Yeah,
He's
and
like,
I was
no,
like-
I have to leave on my own.
I was like, you have a fiance."
Exactly. So this whole there's a lot of, I noticed it in a lot of these movies. There's a lot of like day one romance.
Yeah.
With the exception of Frankenstein, because he already had a fiance, but all
marriage
these
was
other
awful
ones,
quick, too, though.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, man, they just met. And she has a fiance, and she's already ready to elope with this guy, who creeped on her, by the way.
Right.
But yeah, no.
But see,
she's trying to run away with him, and he's like, "You have to stay away from me."
that's when he talks to Gwen before his dad ties him in the chair.
Yeah,
So that was a big part of the movie. So you have the dad talking to the gypsy, the dad talking to the doctors,
Yep.
Larry and his dad talking, then him talking to Gwen, and then
Yep.
his dad ties him to the chair. I mean, I watched it a couple days ago. It's kind of all jumbled.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie, though. So now you see the gypsy woman and the father, they meet up in the while they're out there, you know what I mean? She's like, "Look, you know, your son is the Wolfman."
Yeah.
You know, and they're going to kill him. And they hear gunshots. Remember, they were
Yeah.
trying to shoot at him as he's running, you know what I mean?
and then that's when they have the conversation. I don't understand. I shot him point blank,
And she's like-
he should be dead, but he's not.
Yeah. And she's like, no. So, you know, the whole mob are out there chasing him. And then you see the Wolfman and his father.
yeah,
And they start struggling, fighting. And next thing you see, the dad take that cane and just beat the living
Beat
tar
the
out
everything crap
of the
out of
Wolfman. And, you know, so...
after it's all said and done, the
yeah, so-
gypsy pops back up. And then she
said,
she
what?
does what she did
it's over now.
before.
It's over now.
Yeah, so she has this little sort of
That
almost like a
speech
poem,
right?
almost. And then she used it before when he got caught in a trap earlier in the movie to turn him back.
Oh yeah, no, the
and
Wolfman
free him.
does get caught in the trap. Remember?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he
and
gets
then
caught in the wolf
she
trap.
turned him back. He freed himself from the trap, and then they're like, "What are you doing out here?" He's like, "Oh, same thing you're doing, hunting."
Yeah,
And then
that
he
was earlier in the movie. Yeah,
that was earlier in the movie. So she says that same exact poem after he's dead, and then it turns him from the Wolfman back into a human. And,
And
that's
the look,
when the
look
father.
on the dad's face,
Yeah.
man, is he realizes I just killed my son.
He also realizes his son was right because
Right,
he
the
did
whole
tell him
entire time.
earlier that he
So
was a
about this
werewolf.
time, you know, they all come running over and they all see him. They sit and Gwen's there and she's
Yeah.
like, "Larry!" She yells, and then they're like, "Oh," they said, "Looks like the Wolfman got him too."
Yeah,
So they left it wide open, you know what I mean? Like his dad, and then it shows his dad, and his dad's like, "You guys don't." He didn't say it, but he knows you don't understand that.
Yeah.
Was the Wolfman, you know what I
Right.
mean? And I just thought the way it ended was, man, it was heartbreaking,
it was.
but it was good.
It was very good.
So Terrence, a couple things before I get your thoughts. Lon Chaney Jr. Plays the Wolfman 5 times in movies. He's the only actor to play the same role in all the sequels.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And most of the Wolfman myths come from this movie. Originally, no Wolfman would be showed. It was going to be all in his mind, but they thought it would be more profitable if the audience actually saw the Wolfman. So the rubber cane is the only surviving prop from this movie, and it's in the possession of a Maryland collector. The full moon is never shown.
That is also true.
That is crazy.
I was wondering if it would, and it never
nope,
did.
And he's never referred to as the Wolfman the entire movie.
Exactly.
So I thought that was very good. And they said that maybe some of the scenes from The Village were the same scenes from the movie Frankenstein, which I thought that was pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
I guess not. You're yawning.
Yeah. Oh, man, so exhausted.
But something that we discussed is even with Bela Lugosi when he died, Bela the gypsy, and when the Wolfman died, how come there's no bruising? There's nothing.
Well, not only that is like, so when they find the fortune teller Bela dead, they automatically go, he was bludgeoned to death and he was murdered. Then they find Larry dead, who was killed in the exact same fashion, and then they look at him and they go, oh man, the werewolf got him.
Right.
And I was like, wait, but it would be he was killed the exact same way. It would be the exact same.
And I brought up the question to you that if they were killed as the Wolfman, or the wolves, do their skull go back to being normal once they transform back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, they wouldn't know he was bludgeoned to death.
Exactly. So that was probably the biggest
only
inconsistency and gripe that I would have about this movie was that, because to me it didn't make sense.
But when his dad does finally kill him and you see him transforming back, I just think it was cool, the different layers, the time-lapse photos that showed this. So you finally got to see him transform fully. It was really cool. One other important thing is that because Gwen does see the Wolfman and she faints.
Yeah, that's
Remember,
right.
he's getting ready to attack her and she's like, she's screaming, she faints. So she had to faint and she has to fall to the misty ground, but the fumes were so strong she passes out, literally. Unnoticed by the director and crew who were concentrating on another aspect of the scene, she remained there unnoticed until a studio technician began breaking down the set.
Yeah. So after all said and done,
how do you...
that either was the last scene they filmed of the day or they filmed scenes that she was not in. Either way, how do you leave one of your talents?
Well, see, here's another way it's
set.
worded. It says, Evelyn Ankers later recalled that during the filming on the final confrontation, she was required to faint and then to stay on the floor until the fight scene between Lon Chaney Jr. and Claude Rains was finished. Ankers recalled that during one take, she stayed on the floor so long that the low-hanging chemical fog being used in the scene causes her to pass out. When the take was over, the film crew began rearranging the cameras and lights for the next take, not noticing that Ankers has not emerged from the floor. Finally, someone on the crew realized that Ankers was missing, and she was pulled up from the fog and revived. I was like, how do you not know this?
Right.
I mean, so Terrence, go ahead and give me your thoughts on the Wolfman.
I highly enjoyed this one. One of the key facts is that the protagonist is also the antagonist, which is a very unique thing. It was very well done, like you were saying. There wasn't scenes that sort of felt left out. Everything flowed pretty well, and it was just an all-around good movie. Very tragic, very tragic. Probably the most tragic as far as what we've seen so far and what we're going to cover later today. But yeah, no, I super enjoyed it, and it's been a nice addition to the journey that is watching all these Universal classic
For the
monster
first
movies.
time.
For the first time. And yeah, it was great. What did you think?
Well, to me, this movie is shot, what? It's 11 years later or 10 years later than Dracula.
Yeah.
Frankenstein. So the special effects are getting better and better. You know, I mean, they can do more things with this. You know, I didn't feel any hokey scenes, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
that
that
all the
makes sense.
sets actually were there. There wasn't no like paintings or anything. It was all very well put together. Lon Chaney, amazing actor. Or Jr. was amazing actor. He commanded attention on the screen. Not quite like Bela Lugosi, but Bela Lugosi just, you know, he was on there again, and you were just mesmerized by his acting. This was always one of my favorites. until we do The Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's probably my favorite. But that was even later, so the stuff they could do with that movie was even greater than what they could do with this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just always thought that this movie was very good. Great acting. The makeup that he went through, the look that he had, it was always it always kind of scared me. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I thought, man, this guy looks cool.
Right.
So yeah, I highly recommend this one. So if you had to put in order the ones that we watched so far, the Wolfman, Dracula, and the Frankenstein, how would you put them?
Wolfman's on top, then Dracula, and then Frankenstein.
Right.
Easy.
But all great actors.
Oh yeah.
So the next one we will be covering will be The Mummy. It's another fantastic movie, another great performance by Boris Karloff, who was the Frankenstein monster. So until then, I think that's a wrap on this episode.
Yep, and
Were you just say so?
Yeah, I'm all spacing out.
And cut.